It's not supposed to be a very British thing, is it, complaining? We're all supposed to be stiff upper lip, get on with it.
Good at queuing, but not good at complaining.
Not good at complaining, but now we seem to be plucking up the courage to moan a bit more often. Well,
according to a new survey, complaints about bad service rose by 3 million last year, with the biggest offenders being retail, telecom and energy firms. Well, we're joined now by Jasper Griegson, who describes himself as a professional complainer. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
That's quite some increase, isn't it, of 3 million? So what's behind the big rise in the number of complaints?
Well, I'm not sure. I've heard the statistic, but I'm not quite sure how people are complaining, because there's moaning and there's complaining, and there's a big difference between the two. So if people are expressing themselves effectively, that's complaining. If they're just whinging amongst themselves, that's not.
OK, I think these are officially logged things. I think that's what makes the difference, because we are bad at that. We'll sort of sit there going, oh, this food is awful and it's cold, and then the waiter comes over and go, oh, it's lovely, thank you very much. Very British, isn't it, that we don't like to actually register specifically?
Well, we're scared. We're slightly scared of complaining. We don't like confrontation. Maybe social media have increased the ability of people to complain. Complaining online, of course, it's a bit distant, it's easy to tip-tap.
Don't have to look the person in the eye.
That's it. There may be an element of that to it. But, you know, customer service is generally pretty poor in this country on all levels.
Well, you know how to do it properly, don't you? And we've got some examples of complaints from viewers.
Yes.
So the first is from Darren, who wants to know what he can do about his online order.
Placed an order with B&Q online. Now, there was a few issues with delivery. They tried to deliver it on the wrong date. One of the items when it was delivered was incorrect. The resolution was for me to go to the nearest branch and collect the missing item. Now, so far they've offered me £15 store voucher as compensation.
Oh, it is frustrating, isn't it, with those online orders when you get them delivered and it's not on the right day, not on the right time, and then it's not all there.
You waited in maybe on the other day, all of that.
What's your advice?
I think the smart companies know what to do. It's win-win if they get this right. And actually, that's not very impressive, a £15 voucher. My tip normally is go to the top. So don't just ring up customer services and listen to Vivaldi for 20 minutes or go through the usual channels. Find the name of somebody in authority at the company.
How do you do that?
Because
they'll do anything they can. Even if you ask for the manager when you're on the phone, they'll say, oh, no, there's no one available. And you think, well...
No, I go higher than that. And the information is online. If you go to the corporate website, it's often tucked away in a dark corner.
So you do a bit of research. You need to invest a bit of time in this.
That's exactly what you need to do. Yeah, you need to write to somebody in authority, and don't necessarily just write to the chief executive. Write to the finance director. He or she's probably got a really boring in tray.
Right, OK, well, listen, B&Q, in relation to that one we've just heard, said they're sorry to hear about the experience. When a complaint is made, they try to put things right by working directly with their customers. Another quick one we can go to is Lee's got in touch about a damaged table. Let's have a listen to his complaint.
Me and my husband purchased a table from Argos around 10 months ago. A couple of weeks ago, we noticed that the veneer has started to come off the side of the table, and it looks awful, to be honest. I've repeatedly tweeted Argos and tried to get in touch with them, and I've had no resolution.
So Lee there has been tweeting. He's tried to raise this as an issue, but what would your advice be?
Tweeting wouldn't be my first port of call, but I think there is a place for tweeting.
Doesn't it embarrass them into doing something?
Sometimes it does, but it's quite limited, isn't it? And you're restricted on what you can say. One bit of advice I think I'll give in this case is I'm a great fan of giving them the hot potato. So if you've got a defective item or a hot potato, literally go and dump it on them and say, I'm not having this, I'm rejecting it, and then follow it up with your complaint.
The only thing is sometimes if it's a big table, isn't it? It might be a bit of effort trying to get it back to the store.
Yeah, but the drama of dumping that, you know, at reception.
Here you go, have it back.
Yeah,
all right then.